Hey there, tarot lovers. Our card of the day is the reversed Five of Swords. So, check out this card. So, the fives are a little bit dodgy in character, being this strong conflicting energy in our lives. And they always represent some type of change that's taking place. And there's a lot of movement in the fives as well. But the movement is usually an internal one, which is some challenge that's coming up and some conflict that's being represented. So this five shows a picture of one guy holding three swords, and he seems to have won the battle against these other two guys. There's two more swords on the floor. The swords represent our mind, represent our logic, intellect, and they're very dual in nature. The mind is very dualistic in nature. It likes to put things in boxes. It likes to be able to understand stories. It likes to be able to restrict and constrict our ideas so that we can say we understand something or we get something. And one other thing that the mind likes more than anything else is to be right, is to be grounded in a sense of self-righteousness and truth. And so the truth that the mind latches onto, which is your truth, my truth, is something that we fight for a lot of the time, and we become very defensive towards other people who might challenge what we think is right or true. And we might even go to war against it. And this is where we exaggeratingly give importance to what we feel are the most real beliefs for us. And sometimes this is important, but most of the time it isn't. And most of the time the mind is running around trying to fight and be competitive from a place, from an inner space of not feeling good enough and not feeling worthy. And it's when we don't feel worthy that the mind can come in and go, yes, but I'm very clever, and also I can make this and build this machine and go and beat somebody up, and hey, I can intellectually abuse other people. I can manipulate other people with my thoughts and with my skill and intelligence. And this is what the card is very much about. When it's upside down, there are different ways to read it, but one of the most common ways to see this upside down card is the denial of these qualities. So in this black-white mental version of reality where it's either good or it's bad, and it's either right or it's wrong, in this version of reality, we don't want to be the wrong ones. We don't want to be the bad ones, and anything that is socially considered as being bad or wrong, we will avoid owning up to. And so it's easy to deny that part of ourselves. It's easy to say, no, I'm not a bully, I'm not manipulative. No, that's not me at all. I'm a nice person. What, me, a know-it-all? What? No, I'm not a know-it-all, And even when I have been a know-it-all, the complete irony is that the most important thing for me to know is myself, and I'm not knowing that I'm even a bloody know-it-all, and that's just paradoxically ridiculous. But at the same time, something that happens, and we can get over defensive when this card is when we're in denial of this nature of ourselves. We'll go, no, that's not me, and we'll defend ourselves when nobody's attacking us, because we're feeling triggered. We're feeling triggered by the stories of conflict in our lives, the people that might blame us for feeling conflict here. So in these two little smaller figures there's a lot of shame and low self-esteem. So, there's this victim mentality, and we might not even want to admit that we have and we hold a victim mentality. We might be in denial. No, I'm not the victim. No, they're just the bad people. Well, hang on a minute. If you're making somebody else have power over you by calling them the bad person, that means you're a victim. And this is something that we need to own up to. This card is, when it's up on reverse like this, is asking us to own up to our victim mentality, our bully, arrogant, sort of cocky mentality, our know-it-all mentality. It's asking us, when this is in reverse, when we deny this part of ourselves, we can be we can be passive aggressive, and you've seen this. I don't know how to give a good example of this, but this is when somebody says, you know, this is gaslighting at its best as well. You know, when somebody is trying to persuade you that you're wrong, or trying to persuade you that you're bad, or that you're stupid, or that you're being the nasty one, when in reality we are projecting the nastiness out there. This could be the sarcasm that we bring out in life. And I know I come from England, where we are the freaking kings and queen of sarcasm, and that's our form of wit that we have down. But this is a passive aggressivity sometimes that we bring out there, we throw upon other people, and it's not really our highest truth, and we'll do it without knowing, through sheer conditioning. There's a trauma behind this card, and it could have come from maybe this need to be right and wrong all the time. It comes from a punishment from when we were wrong, or it comes from when we may even have, and we can't call this a trauma, but we may have been rewarded for being right, and so we just want to be right all the time, just because we got a pat on the back when we were kids, and somebody told us, hey, you're good to be right, it's good to be clever and to be right, and so we'll have this allergy for being wrong just because of that. But mostly it could come from also just copying a parent, or copying a long line of family traits, which I know very well. Yeah, we have this nature in our family, and this is something that I have struggled with seeing and looking at inside of myself, and yet it comes up from time to time, and I'm going, oh God, there it is again. I still haven't learned that story. But this is why this card comes up, so that we can look into that shadow nature of ourselves, and really maybe become more and more and more and more aware, and to allow the depth of our awareness to enter into every single moment of our life. And that's the beauty of the shadow aspects of the tarot, because we are all here to learn, and we're all here to grow, and we don't have to pretend that we are something that we're not, and we can really learn to move on. There's a positive way of reading this upside down card too, which is that we are actually learning this lesson. We're actually moving on from this very black and white dual mentality. We are managing to drop our need to be right, and we can embrace being wrong and idiots sometimes. We can own up to our stupidity. We can own up to our negative qualities, and this is really the only way to move on and learn the lessons. And I sometimes see that this card is upside down because we are learning the lessons, and we are learning to move on. And sometimes it's about learning when to walk away and not fight. We might have an allergy to conflict here. I spoke about that, and that allergy to conflict would mean that we'll avoid conflict at all costs. And this is not so positive, because sometimes we need to stand up for ourselves. We can make ourselves pushovers. People will walk all over us, and we'll become the proverbial doormat. And that's the other side of this story as well. While this, when it's denied, it can come out in extreme anger, with this inner resentment that we might hold on to. It can also be this inner resentment that we don't express that anger, and we'll run away from it, but it's really boiling up inside of ourselves, and really we're not playing the card of peace at all, because our inner peace is all over the place, and instead there is a turmoil. So these are some of the stories of the reversed. You can see that card is it's one of the broken cards. It's been in a fight. Oh my God. And yet I love this card so much. It taught me so much about myself, and taught me so much about relationships, and how to find more peace, and learn when to walk away, and learn when to stand up and fight. But fighting for your own truth doesn't mean that you have to fight against somebody else's. You can be right, and somebody else can be right. And even though those two right natures are not, are in no way can relate to each other, you can allow somebody else to be different than yourself. You don't have to make somebody else wrong in order for you to hold on to your sword of truth and carry on with your knowledge that you are walking the right path for yourself. It doesn't have to be somebody else's. With that, I say goodbye, and it's been a bit of a long one today, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, leave a comment down below and click on like and share and do all that fantastic stuff to get the word out, because we need to deal with this conflict shit. Totally.